I'm going to bring in now Edward Isaac Dovere. He's the chief Washington correspondent for Politico. He joins me now. So many moving parts here. Our CBS News count appears to show that there really isn't the votes to bring this through. What are you hearing? We know that the president met with the Freedom Caucus. What's going on there?
It is a scramble. It's a scramble to find a way to just squeak this by passing in the House. And importantly, this is the way that this stuff works. When Obamacare passed initially, it passed with just enough Democratic votes to get it through. And so it's not a shocker that Obamacare repeal might be that kind of a vote. Although, of course, there's a large Republican majority in the House, and they've been talking about wanting to repeal it for 7 years. Then when the rubber hit the road here and they tried to work out a plan, it became very difficult to put together a coalition to do it. And of course, it doesn't matter, even if they do figure out a way to get it through the House, there's a whole separate issue of how getting it through the Senate now would work. They'll probably have to change the bill for that. And one of the factors that is going through a lot of Republican House members' minds is that this is a big political risk to take, and they may be taking it to vote for a bill that will pass the House at best and maybe not even get taken up by the Senate.
What does this mean for the Freedom Caucus? You know, they had a huge deal of clout. If this bill, I mean, how could this bill affect their clout in moving or halting legislation?
Well, if there was any doubt that the Tea Party wing, the Freedom Caucus wing of the Republican Party continues to be a dominant force, even at a moment when the Republican majority in the House is large and there's a Senate majority for the Republicans and they have a Republican president now, that these members of the House who are hard right members and have been there since the 2010 elections, guiding the way that things go, that doubt should be gone now. They are driving the bus here on what's happening, and that will affect all the calculations going forward of what can happen in Washington, whether it's about this or tax reform or immigration reform, should we ever get to that, or even things like building the border wall that President Trump has said he wants to do, but that it's not clear where the money on that will come from. Freedom Caucus seems like it will be an important player on even something like that, and saying, no, we can't have more government spending.
And what is it that the Freedom Caucus wants to have included in this bill?
They want a lot more attention to open markets and changing the way that the regulations are there on some of the insurance companies. It's really pulling back. I mean, in a lot of ways, their ideal is to go back to where things were with the health insurance system before Obamacare existed. So they like things like keeping pre-existing conditions from being an issue, or letting people stay on their parents' health insurance until 26, two of the easier provisions of Obamacare, the most popular provisions of Obamacare. But they are opposed to almost everything else about Obamacare and almost everything else about this new bill, which we are being told by the White House we shouldn't call Trump care, but is on the verge of being called that.
Yeah, he puts his name on a lot of things, but it doesn't seem like this is one of them. I want to switch gears with you, Ed, and ask about the House Intel Committee chairman who said yesterday that members of Trump's transition team may have inadvertently been picked up on surveillance after the election, but then he took that information straight to the White House instead of going to his committee. I want to play a bite from him from yesterday.
It's just a judgment call. I mean, you know, it was my. I mean, it was there was a lot going on yesterday, and it was a judgment call on my part. And that's at the end of the day, it's, you know, sometimes you make the right decision, sometimes you make the wrong one, but you got to stick by the decisions you make.
So that was actually from today, and he refused to actually name the source of the information. So what do you think this means for the investigation into wiretapping? His committee was looking into this. Is this all in jeopardy, and could there be an independent investigation?
I mean, like from the start, we have an issue that isn't much talked about with Devin Nunes, which is that he was a member of the Trump transition team. He was an official on the Trump transition team, helping them set up some of the intelligence and other conversations that were going on. So he is not some independent observer of what is happening here. And then as these revelations have been coming out, he said things like, don't pay attention to the things that Trump tweets. You guys are making a mistake by taking them literally, when the president tweeted the things, those claims about Obama wiretapping him. And then it seemed like he had pulled himself back and been a little bit more restrained in what he was willing to say publicly, until yesterday, in which he ran to the White House to tell the president about some information based on anonymous sources, despite the fact that he himself has criticized people for using anonymous sources in the past, and didn't inform members of the minority on the Intelligence Committee about what was going on, to the point that he felt like he had to apologize for it today. This is getting very muddy, and certainly for the Democrats is providing them with an opportunity to say there is no real way to see Nunes as separate from the investigation, separate from the things that are being investigated, in a way that makes him independent enough. So they are going to, it seems, really pursue this effort to have a bipartisan independent effort. Of course, they were bucked up by John McCain supporting that yesterday himself.
Yeah, we're sort of walking into uncharted territories here, you know, with the chairman coming forward, but I guess every day is sort of something different in this administration. I want to thank you, Edward Isaac Dovere from Politico.
Thank you.